Hi folks, how are you doing? This time we're going to talk about David Mamet's Things Change, released in 1988. What themes are of interest to this American scriptwriter and director? What situations are recurrent in his work? Well, of course, we can begin by saying scams, cons. In several films directed by Mamet, we see characters using their brains to trick someone. We can see this in films like The Spanish Prisoner, House of Games, or of course, in Heist, a great underrated self-conscious movie. If we go beyond this mere appreciation, we could say that Mamet's real interest behind these low-life con artists and their complex maneuvers is the obsession for mise en scene. When Mamet fools the audience with his character's cons, he's also reflecting on what staging means, and up to what point he can stretch the limits of the believable. However, our main focus today will be Mamet's dedication to the bipolar worlds he establishes in his films, particularly, of course, in Things Change. Let's take a look.
Things change.
In House of Games, a young, apparently innocent writer enters the world of the con artists. Then, she is promised a great amount of money for a big hit. In The Spanish Prisoner, a software engineer is accidentally involved in a series of rip-offs. In Homicide, a denying Jew detective gets pulled back to his religious environment only to find out that his own people tricked him. Now, if we take a closer look to Things Change, we can see that it constantly plays around with a bunch of dualities: the old and the young, the high commands of the mob and the low, the tradition and the modernity, the boredom of Chicago versus the spectacularity of Lake Tahoe. All of these worlds merge when the partners go on a little vacation. Jerry, who had been put in probation due to his incapability to follow orders, takes a leap by proposing Gino to spend the weekend in Lake Tahoe.
I'll show you what's okay.
Faking Gino Gatto's identity, which itself is a sort of con by fooling the hotel staff, Jerry gets a colleague of his to invite them to the most luxurious room of the hotel, mistaking Gino for a mob leader. In this trip, the greatest of the dualities takes over, as they live in a completely alternate reality. Suddenly, they are not losers from the Chicago suburbs anymore. They are the leaders of the mob. They are living in a sort of fantasy there. The dream of Gino to have a boat suddenly becomes real, and the ambition of Jerry to become a hotshot mafia boss also gets done. We could say that in this upside-down world that Lake Tahoe represents to them, the suspense of the story relies on whether they get caught or not. If they do get caught, they would return to the previous world, where they are a failure. If we go deeper, we can discover a dream within a dream. When Gino and Jerry go into the casino, Gino says that he never gets lucky when gambling. So, Jerry asks the manager if he can get a little treat to feel for once fortunate. A fake world inside a fake world is created, where Gino wins 2 times in a row to win 35 grand. However, as they are very close to getting discovered, they have to get out quickly of this fake world. So Jerry tells Gino that they must return the money. Every element present in Things Change will see an alteration in its meaning later. We can see various examples. The coin that the first mob leader gives to Gino initially represents friendship. Later, it will be his lifesaver. The woman who smokes in the initial reunion seems to be mere decoration to the scene, and in the end, she will be a potential threat to get caught. Here, we see Jerry in the kitchen doing a mundane task, washing the dishes. Then, we see him in a very different way, controlling his fake boss. And at last, the change in the cars they use. At first, in a limousine with a personal chauffeur, and then, trying to steal a car by hot wiring the cables. Also, there is a constant repetition in the dialogues. Let's take a look.
I'll show you what's okay. I'll show you what's okay.
This is public knowledge. What I am going to tell you now is not public knowledge.
What are you doing? What the hell are you doing?
12. The number is 12.
Bruno Gatto and the little Bruno Gatto.
This establishes that for every element present in the film, for every item, for every move, there will always be a counterpart. And in the end, the wish previously asked by Gino to take a walk by the beach
Can we take a walk down by the beach?
finally gets real, but it turns into a nightmare. We can see this when Jerry is walking with Frankie in this tunnel, which represents an entrance to another world. Jerry is ordered to kill his new friend. All of the idyllic future that was previously established suddenly falls apart. Where? In a walk by the beach. Their future is sealed, but Gino recovers an element of that previous dreamy world, the coin that Don Giuseppe gave to him, and asks for a last favor. And in the end, they get back to their awful reality, but both having learned something about the other's world. Well, that's it for today. Please leave us a comment below with your thoughts on this movie and tell us which other film would you like us to analyze. See you next time on C Cinema.
If you like the video, please comment, like and subscribe.